A story about greed, impatience, and morality. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we'll discuss a short story that Treasure in the Forest by G. Wells. But before I start my lecture, I would like to make request. If you are new to my channel and if you have not subscribed the channel yet, please do not forget to subscribe the channel if you like that lecture. So now let's continue our journey without delay. But before we start, we have to discuss some of the points that are being informed in the story. So first we have to know about a bay. So what is a bay? As you can see on picture, bay is just this kind of inlet of the sea, which is surrounded by land from its three side. If a sea area is surrounded by land from its three side, then that kind of structure is called bay. Okay. So next one we have peninsula. What is peninsula? So dear readers, peninsula is just opposite of the bay. If a land structure is surrounded by sea from its three sides, then it becomes peninsula. Similarly, we have to know about lagoon. What is lagoon then? So it's a stretch of salt water separated from a sea by a low sandbank or coral reef. So as you can see here, if you have ever experienced this kind of view near the sea, which looks like ponds or lakes, which are separated by corals or some sandbanks, then they are called lagoons, which actually make the sandbank of the sea look beautiful. Next terms we have in the story are corals. Corals, they are actually, they look like plants, green or colorful plants, but actually they are not plants, they are invertebrate animals. They belong to the large group of colorful and fascinating animals called Nidaria, and they are made of the thousands of polyps kind of animals. So they are actually animals, but many people might be in confusion or might get confused by the term corals, taking them as plants. Actually they are not sea plants, they are animals. So many people visit different kind of like famous sea sports and they do scuba diving just to watch this kind of corals, because they actually make the underwater of the sea beautiful. Okay, so when our story starts, we see we are being informed about two friends who have reached or who are about to reach near the island, which is very mysterious, and they want to hunt the treasure. These two friends, they want to find that hidden treasure, and they have got the old map, and through that with the help of that map, they want to find that hidden treasure. And they want to be rich, but the problem is that they have been driving throughout the yesterday, throughout the last night, and throughout the day, and the sun has like bothered them, tortured them with its heat, and they have not eaten anything. They have even not found any like fresh water to drink. So the first thing they want to do is they want to find the fresh water, and then they want to quench their thirst, and then they want to make journey inside that mysterious island. So and they want to find that treasure, and they want to be rich. So who are these two characters? Let's talk about them. These two characters are Evans and Hooker. When the story starts, we see that Evans drives the canoe or small boat, and then Hooker has a map who looks at map and who interprets different signs which are drawn on the map. So now moving ahead, as we find that they are very thirsty and they are very hungry. So Evans, after before they reach onto that island, Evans finally who was driving that canoe or boat, he asked Hooker to take that role and to drive that canoe, and he will come on the first seat at the front seat, and then he will have some time to rest. And then as they exchange their role, Evans, and as the Evans come on the front seat, and then Hooker goes in the driving seat. So Evans, as he was very thirsty, hungry, so before they find the river, freshwater river, and before they drink the water, Evans has a kind of he goes into sleep. So he dodges off, and then as he dodges off, he has a dream, a kind of nightmare. In the dream, he sees that he sees some three Chinese men so gossiping about some hidden treasure in a mysterious island, which was left by, which was like hidden by, or which was abandoned by old Spanish so treasure hunting sea, which is also called Spanish galleon. So as you can see here on picture, so it was this kind of sea, so about which this Evans so hears from that Chinese mean. Now, so Ivan sees in the dream that he hears from that Chinese mean, three Chinese mean, that they are talking about some hidden treasure in that mysterious island, and they have got the map as well. And after that, so Ivan sees that, so he has got the hold of that treasure. He has finally found that treasure in that mysterious island. But as soon as he wants to run away from that spot, taking all the treasure, he is being held by that Chinese man whose name was Chang He. So all of a sudden he finds that Chang He's pigtail. So as we know that Chinese have pigtails. So Ivan comes to that he is being, so he is being held by this Chinese man, Chang He, and he cannot run away from there. And as they struggle, or as Evans struggle to uh, to run from there, so living out that Chinese man. So that Chinese man starts all of a sudden in the dream of Evans, or in the nightmare of Evans, that Chinese man's body, Chang his body, it starts growing bigger and bigger. And then so Chang he also says Evans, you fool, or you will never be able to take all these treasures which actually I had hidden here. So what was the story? According to the dream of these Evans, the story was that before 1 year, Chang he had already come or had gone into that mysterious island and had found that treasure. But since he was alone during that time, and that treasure was a lot and he heavy and huge, he could not bring all that treasure on his own. So he hid that treasure into some mysterious place with a very careful provisions. So now, after listening all this, after 1 year, when finally Chang He and his group, they are planning again to go into that mysterious island and unearth all those treasures which Ivan so had hidden 1 year ago. So Evans and Hooker, who are British, they have some feeling of greed into them, and they actually attack these Chinese men, and they so stole that map from that Chinese crew. And after killing them, after stealing their map, they started their journey into that mysterious island about which they have heard from that Chinese group, and so about which that map also talks. So as Evans was seeing that dream, and as Chang his body in his dream so was growing bigger and bigger, it was very devilish kind of body. All of a sudden Evans so here's that someone is calling his name. Hey Evans, wake up! Evans, fool, wake up! And he wakes up. And as he wakes up, so Evans find that they have almost come so near the beach, and they have almost come near the bay water, and now they are at least happy. Evans and Hooker, they make haste to go inside that depth of the river, or inside the part of that island from where the river is so coming out, so that they could have fresh water to drink. So now here, if we interpret this dream of Evans, here also we have been foreshadowed many things that will take place later in the story. So this kind of technique that tells something that will come in the latter part of the story, that tells something about that ending of the story or the future of the story, then that kind of figure of speech is called foreshadowing. Here, when Evans was dreaming, he sees that when he has got that treasure, he wanted to run, but he could not run. He was being held by that Changi. So, from which his friend Hooker, they actually had looted or stolen that map. So after that dream, now Evans did not like think much about that dream, and then he forgets as soon as he comes into his consciousness. They like just have concentration on how to find that fresh water and drink that. They go inside that island from where that river was coming out, and they when they enter into the depth of the river, they find that water is fresh enough to drink for them, and they so drink the water, and after drinking the water, they again so come back, and then again they see the map. Okay, so when they see the map, they find that map has this kind of a very mysterious thing. So on map they find that there are small dots, straight dots, which mean that they have to walk through that part until that dot cut the river. Okay, so like as you can see here in the picture, the map, this map is not real, so this is just an exemplary map. So on that place where that dot line and the river cut each other, there is a place where which is marked with the star, and that marked place with the star is actually the place where there is a treasure. So after this, now beside this there were also like short dashes drawn on that map. The map was very old, it was torn on its like folded creased parts. But these two characters, Evans and Hooker, they like could not decode that map, that sign in the map, that small dashes on the map. They thought that these dashes could be anything but that Chinese language, because they had stolen that map from Chinese group. So after reading that map, they start their journey. They enter into that island, and after entering into that island, as soon as they had entered, they see that the jungle was very deep. It has like very tall trees, unnamed flowers, very mysterious, creepy plants. And as they moved ahead, they find that they come across some open space inside the jungle where some light was there from the sun, and again there were different kind of like mystical flowers, plants or unnamed plants and trees, and it was very like scary place. And they move ahead. As they move ahead, they so hear the noise of the water running from the river, and they become happy. So because according to the map, that treasure spot was must be somewhere by that river. So they talk that they have nearly come into the river, and they have to either search down the river or up towards the river. That spot must be nearby the river. But as they continue their journey towards the down of the river, first they see that there is something mysterious. Okay, so Hooker notices that there is something mysterious, something blue, and again as they reach near that, so they find that as there is near that blue object, they find that that blue object was the dead body. That blue object was a dead body, and when they examine that dead body, they find that that dead body was Chinese. It means that so before them someone had already arrived there and already started digging that treasure, which made Ivan sad because he was so much excited, he was so passionate, and he had been very greedy to find that. Evans had been very greedy to find that treasure, so he was like very frustrated, believing that someone had already come there, and someone might have others might have like taken away all those treasures. And now Hookers was so quite shocked to see that kind of dead body. Okay, Hookers was quite shocked to see that how come this Chinese man died, and what could be the reason why the dead body of that Chinese man looked like so scary. Hooker was a kind of a bit of like he was he was doubtful about that mysterious treasure and all of those things. So he was not excited as his friends Evans was. So he was just standing still there. But Evans, he was very much excited, and as soon as he starts searching for that treasure around that dead body, so he finds that there is a newly dug pit or hole. So, and then when so Evans looks inside that hole, he finds that there are still like gold ingots. The golds are still there. Okay, so he was very happy. Evans was very happy. So seeing that the treasures have not been looted yet, the treasures have not been taken away by someone else yet, and the treasures are still there. So he was very happy, and he was very happy, and says to Hooker that at least that treasures have not been looted yet. At least the treasures have not been taken away from here. So he starts like collecting the gold ingots or gold biscuits, and as soon as he touches that gold biscuits or gold ingots, some thorn so pricks him. He does not bother on that. He does not mind what happened. What happened to him. So as soon as like Evans he touches that gold ingots, he is pricked by some poison, some thorns. So he does not mind that time, and he rather becomes angry at his friend Hooker, and he says that why are you just looking or staring? Rather you should come and here help me to carry these all these goals. So they make a kind of like spacer kind of thing with the jacket, and Evans puts all those gold ingots on that jacket, and Ivan asks Shukar to carry one part of the or one end of the jacket, and he will be carrying another end. So again, when he touches that gold, he is again like pricked by the thorns. So when he is pricked by the thorns for the first and second time, Ivan's like he does not mind, or he does not give much idea thought on that. So as soon as they start like carrying that gold ingots, putting them on the jacket, so after some time, so no sooner had they like moved some distance ahead, Evans felt that he is like sweating, and he is having some kind of problem or difficulty in breathing, and his health is being deteriorated, and he is not being able to walk. So Ivan says that it might be because he has not eaten anything from the last night, and he has no energy. And he was so much excited that he keeps on telling Hooker that you do not worry, I will be all right within a minute, I will be all right. Just make me have some rest. So as soon as now Evans like he takes rest, attaching himself or taking the help of some of the tree, and he asks Evans to collect that golds and keep them in the jacket properly. When again now after that, when touches that Hooker touches that gold ingots, Hooker is also pricked by the thorns. Hooker also like does not mind over that. But now when we see this, actually those thorns were like kept by the Chinese man or Chang He. So as we know that Chinese man or that Chang He, when he had gone into that mysterious island a year ago, and when he could not bring all those golds himself, he buried that gold in such a way that if anyone would come there to try to steal his gold, they would be pricked by the poisonous thorns. This kind of poisonous thorns we often find being used by some of the natives still who live in the Amazon forest, inside the Amazon forest. So actually we come to know that the gold by Chang He was buried in such a way that around that goal there were scattered poisonous thorns, and if anyone who would come to steal or take away that Chang his buried gold, he or she would be pricked by that poisonous thorn. So same thing happened with Evans and Hooker. So actually fault also lies with Evans and Hooker, because the map does not belong to them, the idea does not belong to them, neither that treasure belongs to them. So and they were like without giving much thought about how to reach that, without giving much preparation and thought, they just killed that Chinese group, and they stole that map, and they And they continued, they came to that island without preparing much and without giving much thought about that, without listening all of the conversation of that Chinese group. They just had listened that they are going to unearth, or they are going to like some mysterious island to take that treasure. And before that Chinese mean, they ended up their conversation completely. Evans and Hooker, they could not control their greed, their excitement to find that treasure, and they jumped into that group, they killed them, and they looted the map, and they set out for their journey. So the problem here is the gold by that Changi was buried in such a way that all of the poisonous thorns were mixed with them, so that anybody who would touch that gold ingots in excitement or very uncarefully, haphazardly, would be severely pricked by those poisonous thorns, and they were poisonous thorns. So both of these, Evans and Hooker, they could not carry the gold up to the canoe, and they died there with suffocation and because of the poison. So the story ends there when these both characters, Evans and Hooker, die, and the story ends. So the story overall teaches us that over excitement and then our like our unpreparation, our carelessness, they bring us a lot of troubles. So greed is not good thing. So greed of course leads us to destruction. So this is a story about the treasure hunters who are two friends, and without who did not give much thought, and who did not prepare much, who had no preparation, and who was very greedy, and who wanted to be rich very quickly. Even if they had to like kill somebody, even if they had to steal from someone's property, so without giving much thought, if we continue something or if we conduct some work, without giving like much thought, without preparing carefully, without making like good preparation, if we do something just because we are greedy, or if we do something uh, just by getting inspired from greed, then that kind of action, that kind of job does not bring a kind of good conclusion. So this is the story overall. I hope you have understood the story, or you got the story. So if you got the story, please do not forget to subscribe the channel again. And if you like the story, do not forget to comment. Thank you. See you again.